In 334 BC, Alexander the Great stood at the edge of Asia with an army that had followed him across the Hellespont. Behind him was Macedonia. Ahead of him was the Persian Empire. Alexander was only 22 years old, but his ambition was enormous. He had inherited the army built by his father, Philip II, and now he intended to carry that army deep into Persian territory. The Persian commanders knew Alexander had arrived. They understood that if they allowed the young king to continue moving east, more cities could fall and more territory could be lost, so they prepared to stop him. Near the Granicus River, a powerful Persian force gathered on the opposite bank. Persian cavalry waited beneath their banners. Behind them stood thousands of soldiers, including Greek mercenaries fighting for Persia. The river separated the two armies. The Persian commanders believed the river would give them the advantage.
The Macedonian phalanx continued moving forward. The long spears of the soldiers created a deadly wall that made it difficult for the Persian cavalry to attack directly. Alexander saw that the Persian formation was beginning to lose its balance. This was the moment he had been waiting for. He gathered the companion cavalry and prepared another charge. The Macedonian riders moved rapidly toward the Persian flank. The impact was sudden and violent. Persian cavalrymen were forced backward as Alexander's soldiers pushed deeper into their formation. The Persian commanders tried to reorganize their forces, but the pressure was increasing from every direction. The Macedonian infantry was advancing from the front. Alexander's cavalry was attacking from the side. The Persian line was slowly being trapped. For the Persian soldiers, the battlefield was becoming impossible to control. Some riders turned their horses and attempted to escape. Others continued fighting. But the confidence that had existed at the beginning of the battle was disappearing. Alexander kept pushing forward. He understood that a battlefield victory depended on momentum. If the Persians were given time to regroup, they could still...
The battlefield at the Granicus was finally becoming silent. The Persian army had been defeated, but Alexander knew that this victory was only the first step. He looked across the land beyond the river. There were no longer Persian soldiers standing between him and the road ahead. But there were still countless dangers waiting. Alexander's army had suffered losses, and the young king understood that every future victory would demand another price. Yet something had changed. His soldiers no longer looked at the Persian Empire with fear. They had seen the enemy army with their own eyes. They had fought it, and they had defeated it. The victory gave the Macedonians confidence that would follow them through the rest of the campaign. For the Persian Empire, however, the defeat was a serious warning. A foreign army had crossed into Asia and defeated Persian forces on Persian soil. Alexander's name was beginning to spread. Cities began hearing stories about the young king who personally led his cavalry into battle. Some cities prepared to resist him. Others began considering surrender. Alexander continued moving forward. His objective was not simply to win battles. He wanted to destroy Persian control over Asia Minor and secure a path deeper into the empire. Every city he captured strengthened his position. Every victory gave his army more confidence. But Alexander knew the Persian king would not remain silent forever. The empire still possessed enormous resources. It could raise new armies. It could gather cavalry from distant provinces. And it could choose the battlefield. Alexander would
Darius had one major advantage: numbers. The Persian Empire could bring together an army far larger than Alexander's. For Alexander, this was the moment when everything he had achieved would be tested. He had crossed into Asia with a relatively small force. He had defeated Persian commanders. He had captured cities. But now, he was approaching the main Persian army. And Alexander knew that courage alone would not be enough. He would need strategy. He would need discipline. And above all, he would need his soldiers to trust him. As the two armies moved closer, the tension across the region began to rise. Villages emptied. Roads filled with soldiers. Messengers carried news from one camp to another.